It was supposed to be the perfect day. Balloons were tied to the mailbox, the smell of cupcakes filled the air, and toddlers in various states of chaos toddled around the backyard. Today was Ella's third birthday, and she, in her 3-year-old mind, had no idea why everyone was making such a fuss. Ella, with her wild blonde curls and chubby hands, was currently standing in the center of the living room, intently focused on chewing the ear of her favorite stuffed rabbit. Mom and Dad were not so focused. In fact, they were in the kitchen having a very intense whisper-shout argument over the most important decision of the day, the birthday present.
I told you she needs a new kitchen set.
A kitchen set? She's 3, Sarah. 3.
She needs something fun, like a bouncy castle.
Ella heard bouncy and thought, bouncy? That's a fun word. She looked at her stuffed rabbit and imagined it bouncing up and down in her crib. Then she lost interest because a fly buzzed past, and that was way more interesting. Sarah rolled her eyes dramatically, the kind that suggested they had had this argument a few times before.
A bouncy castle? Are you out of your mind? She'll break her arm.
No, it's safe. It's soft. It's air-filled. She can learn to be athletic.
Athletic? Ella thought, her 3-year-old brain conjuring up an image of herself with a cape, like her favorite cartoon superhero bouncing off the walls. Yes, I could be that. Sarah shook her head, pulling out her trump card.
What about the learning aspect? She'll never learn anything with a bouncy castle.
She's 3, learning. What she really needs is to learn to have fun.
As this debate raged on, the doorbell rang. A flood of toddlers and their exhausted parents began to arrive. The backyard quickly turned into a toddler mosh pit. Ella wandered outside, still chewing on her rabbit's ear, trying to figure out why so many small humans were now on her turf. One kid tried to grab her rabbit, and she gave him a death stare that would make even a hardened criminal back down. Meanwhile, Sarah and Mark were still whisper-shouting in the kitchen. Back in the kitchen, the great toddler gift debate continued.
What about one of those foam pit things? They can be educational, right?
Mark, those things are basically just a germ farm. Toddlers dive into them, roll around, and come out with a mystery illness we'll never be able to pronounce.
Or she'll come out as a stronger, healthier version of herself.
You're impossible. Fine, you pick. But if it's a disaster, I'm telling everyone it was your idea.
Deal.
Mark grinned and hurried out the back door, leaving Sarah standing in the kitchen muttering under her breath. Ella, meanwhile, had found herself in front of a new obstacle. Her neighbor, Tyler, who was the same age but twice her size. He had somehow commandeered her ball, and that was not acceptable.
That's my ball.
Ella thought, narrowing her eyes at Tyler. Tyler just stared back at her, chewing on his own hand in oblivious defiance. Ella did what any reasonable 3-year-old would do. She let out a high-pitched scream that could shatter glass. Tyler, startled, dropped the ball and immediately burst into tears. Success, Ella thought, picking up her ball triumphantly and waddling away. She was about to celebrate by rolling the ball down the slide when she noticed something new being carried into the backyard by her dad. A bouncy house. Her eyes widened. It was bright, it was huge, and it looked amazing. Mark stood proudly next to the bouncy house as he plugged in the air pump. It inflated slowly, and toddlers immediately crowded around like moths to a flame. Ella watched in awe. This was it. This was her moment. She would be the bouncy champion. The moment the house was fully inflated, Ella made a beeline for it, only to be trampled by 4 other toddlers with much more experience in the art of bouncing.
This is war.
She thought, pulling herself up and toddling furiously toward the opening. Chaos ensued. Toddlers bounced, fell, screamed, laughed, and occasionally collided in midair. Parents stood on the sidelines, some sipping drinks, some nervously watching their children bounce like tiny, uncoordinated kangaroos. Ella, however, had found her rhythm. She bounced once, twice, then bam, right into Tyler, who once again burst into tears.
He should stay out of my way.
She thought, now fully in her element. Sarah came outside just in time to witness a particularly large toddler execute what could only be described as a flying leap that sent another toddler rolling off the edge of the castle and onto the grass. She shot Mark a death glare.
See?
Fun and educational. Physics lesson in action.
Next year, we're getting her the kitchen set.
Well, that's one birthday party Ella will never forget, or at least her parents won't. If you love this little slice of birthday chaos, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Human Stories Unveiled. And hey, tap that bell icon so you're the first to see more strange, funny, and downright dramatic moments from our wonderfully unpredictable human lives. Thanks for watching, and see you at the next adventure.